wasn't so charitable where his father was concerned. Has anyone seen Helis around? His absence is almost...
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Horizon Zero Dawn. We are now officially back in the main game. We are finished with the Frozen Wilds expansion, and we're now back here. We may go back to the Frozen Wilds to talk eventually with Cyan. Okay. Alright. So we'll pry this door open. And we'll step inside.
I'm heading down.
I've spent a lifetime trying to uncover the secrets of this world. Where the machines came from. How the old ones achieved such marvels only to fall into silence and death. A lifetime of failure. As year by year, decade after decade, I hit walls I could not break, doors I could never breach.
Hello.
Until a Nora huntress marched out of the savage east. And voila, for her, all the deepest secrets of the earth were laid bare. I suspect you'll have an easier time with this door than I did years ago.
Hold for identiscan.
Well, we look like Elizabeth, so...
Genetic profile confirmed. Entry authorized. Malfunction. Malfunction. Malfunction.
Oh, great.
Malfunction.
Kidding me?
You don't hear me laughing.
Shut up. There's gotta be another way. Hey! Elizabeth Sobek here! Requesting access!
Access request acknowledged. Root command functions available. Do you wish to proceed?
I do! Get me through this door!
Analyzing. Primary access inoperable due to mechanical failure. Emergency venting procedure likely to circumvent blockage. Do you wish to proceed?
Yes.
Emergency venting authorized.
I'd get out of the way if I were you.
I underestimated you. So by now,
Guess you can't have everything.
that will draw attention. We won't have this place to ourselves for long now.
We? Last I checked, I was the one risking my life down here.
Yes, fine. Now will you please get moving? There's so much to learn in less time than I'd hoped.
So, I mean, the big thing is we've learned about Firebreak and everything that had to do with you know, the Caldera and stuff, Cyan being set up there. But we don't really know much more, you know, kind of past that. We still don't really know what Project Zero Dawn is.
Welcome to Project Zero Dawn.
Never mind, we're here.
Zero Dawn. We found it.
Are you really so surprised?
Facility diagnostics detect multiple failures. Attempting repair.
So, what was this room?
An entrance hall, perhaps. Have a look around.
Okay, another incident. From staff, lounge staff to admin. This morning's unfortunate incident with Dr. Popovich is another example of reception's need for additional support. We appreciate that Zero Dawn is an immensely complicated project, but the staff who serve on the front line, we're tired of being neglected. As we have already requested, we need human translators, fluent in Polish, for example, security staff who can subdue enraged embryologists, for example, and dermal sedatives to calm persons who are screaming in Polish while hurling chairs and vases, and reception staff, for example. Yes, most of the candidates are reasonably calm and well-behaved, but we need help handling the exceptions to that rule. Please respond. We need support, too. Reception staff continues to require additional support managing ZD candidates when they arrive at the facility. Many are frightened or confused, some are highly agitated. These are not the sort of persons who are accustomed to having information withheld from them. At minimum, we need human translators, the Langbots are not sufficient, and mild sedatives for the extreme cases. Any and all support would be welcome. Perhaps you could start responding to one of these mails? Okay. There we go.
Please take a seat and wait for your name to be called.
Okay, I'll just, yeah,
Selection
okay.
of beverages and snacks are
Oh.
available.
Oh, thank you very much. Soundproofing. Would it be possible to improve the soundproofing between VR1 and the lounge area? Most of the candidates stay quiet during the presentation, but the ones who scream or sob can be plainly heard by candidates waiting their turn in the lounge. Just a thought. Okay. Restock or else. For a 5th time, please restock the lounge selection of herbal teas. If I have to listen to one more egghead throw a tantrum because they're out of organic cucumber mint or blackberry sage, varietals. I was like, that's variety, but with not a Y on the end. I'm going to lose it. Please respond, and this time, no tempest in a teapot or steep demand jokes, okay? Alright, so this is... got that. I'd like an herbal tea, please.
Please proceed into viewing room 1 for an important message regarding the
What was this place?
A holographic theater.
CD-01 data intact. Initiating playback.
Okay.
Welcome to Project Zero Dawn. I am General Harris, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff of the United States of America. I'm sure you've heard the rumors that Zero Dawn is a top secret...
Look at the American flag!
The technological miracle that will save us from the Pharaoh Plague, if Operation Enduring Victory can hold off the robots long enough. The reason I'm sure you've heard the rumors is that I'm the one who spread them, and they are all lies. Zero Dawn is not a superweapons program, and it will not save us. Nothing will save us. Here's why.
Oh god.
By the time the glitch was noticed, it was already too late. Nothing could stop the Pharaoh Plague. Nothing can. Its robots will continue to replicate and devour the biosphere. Life on Earth will be destroyed. Our planet reduced to a barren sphere. Global extinction is inevitable. No matter how many we kill, the robots just keep exponentially making more. If we had their deactivation codes, we could shut them all down. The entire swarm. But since their cryptographic protocols use polyphasic entangled waveforms, cracking the code set would take half a century.
Fun.
At best, we've got 16 months. Not exactly what you'd call a survival option. The destruction of a biosphere is not the sort of apocalypse you can wait out in a fallout shelter or a space station. There will be no Earth left to reclaim. Just a lifeless, toxic rock with several million Pharaoh robots on it. Waiting for something to eat. This is the horrible truth behind the lies of Operation Enduring Victory. My lies. Lies designed to inspire millions of innocents to sacrifice themselves in battle. Why? One reason. To buy time for you and the work you will do here. Zero Day. The day that life on Earth ceases to exist is coming fast. It cannot be stopped. The hope of Zero Dawn is that something new might come after. But I will leave it to Elizabeth Sobek to shine that thin ray of light into the darkness.
I think I'm probably right about what I thought about. So yeah, there was no stopping the robots. But at the same time, this place isn't a... Yeah.
life on Earth didn't cease to exist.
Exactly. There's still
Said
well,
it
there's
could not be
still
stopped.
But it was. Somehow Elizabeth saved us. I've got to keep looking. Find out how she did it.
because the thing is that there's still like plant life and everything too. It's not this barren toxic rock that he was describing, but at the same time, most of humanity was wiped out. So I'm still thinking that it was a project to like take people's DNA and grow them in like the mountains or the mountain and wait for a time where they could come out. Like clones, basically.
They got in. Through the vents.
Let nothing stop you from learning the truth.
Spread out! If it moves, kill it!
What is this place? Tomb?
Goodbye. There's a lot of things to read in here, so I just kind of want to clear these guys out first before we.
Look alive. Don't let her get past you like a gate.
Good. We're too close to let tribal prickers studies now. The data points, what did they contain?
Well, first of all, get these over here. Interview with Suzanne Alpert.
Suzanne Alpert, environmental scientist. Doctor?
I'm sorry, I wasn't,
Just stating your name. What were you thinking about, Doctor?
nothing the General said. Not really. I was on the Syzygy East Response Team in 2051, just after the second earthquake compromised the reactor. I still dream about it, after all these years. The red zone spreading on the imaging, slowly, so slowly, like a hand opening its fingers.
Your involvement in that event is why you were asked for by name.
Really? That's interesting. Because nothing worked. Nothing could grow there again. It was a catastrophic failure. But the red zone is a blip compared to global-scale biomass reduction. The biosphere and hydrosphere will collapse, render the Earth uninhabitable long before the robots finish us. Enduring victory can't buy time against that. So, you'd better show me what Zero Dawn really is.
Counselor Guidelines, number 1. For debriefing after presentation 1, candidates must be allowed to ask questions and be given the necessary time to fully absorb the information they have received. It is important to be aware that candidates have just been exposed to triggers for several mental and emotional trauma. Do not assume silence or outward calmness indicates acceptance. It is essential to stress that all other options for combating the viral plague and preserving the continuation of human life have been considered and found unworkable. Communicate this fact calmly but clearly and firmly. Familiarize yourself with data on the catastrophic environmental impact of nuclear engagements versus the swarm, Addendum B1, and the unfeasibility of maintaining life in orbital, lunar, or undersea structures, Addenda C1, C2, and C3, so you can counter candidates' objections in depth. If a candidate asks for time alone to review supplementary information, allow this without hesitation. Be sure to inform additional security personnel so the candidate can be monitored for attempts at self-harm. Candidates should only be cleared to proceed if presentation 2 if you believe their mental state is sufficiently stable. Note that real-time support will be available via your focus. Security and medical crisis teams are... So basically they were like, oh, well, here you go. Basically, like, you're learning the truth. You're learning that all of what you've just discovered is that everyone is going to die. You know, so how do you feel, basically? Interview with Captain Okilo.
I'm sure you now understand the urgency of why we brought you here, Ms. Okilo.
Captain Okilo, are you trying to thank me for not resisting?
I believe we couldn't negotiate a diplomatic solution.
When it came to my country's lithium, it was always a swarm that would be sent to negotiate. Metallurgic International, U.S. Robot Command. The markings changed, but the robots were the same.
You have had considerable experience in human-robot conflict.
Yes, and I've got the prosthetic limbs to show it. Yet I continue to face this horror, even though the challenge was great. Cyber warfare. I thought Zero Dawn would be a Manhattan project to generate the deactivation codes. With the resources I had, I estimated code breaking to be a hopeless endeavor. I was almost looking forward to being proved wrong.
Unfortunately, your estimation was correct.
As your General Hera said. So then, you did not bring me here to commiserate. What is left?
So yeah, they're bringing people that are like knowledgeable in certain aspects, of course. Interview with Ron Felder.
Look, let's cut the mystery.
Aerospace engineering.
It's obvious. And it's not gonna fly. I mean, literally. Remember the Odyssey? That multinational heap of space junk that's been in graveyard orbit since 57? That went nowhere real slow. And you have to get somewhere real fast. Do you have any idea the immensity of the challenge to prep a new colony ship in time?
To be clear, I'm not a worker on the project.
Do you even understand how few people it could save? The whole generation ship concept is not gonna happen. It's the first thing you'd abandon in favor of embryonics. For that kind of storage we're talking, a lot of bulk, a lot of power, a lot of resources. So even if you do it, even if you build it and point it at Sirius X, there's no room for people on that thing, alright?
If you could try to remain calm.
You people are crazy if you think you're getting off this rock. No one's getting off.
Medical.
Medical. Yeah. Ron Felder did not do very well at keeping his cool. Okay, so now we have these three things over here. I'm assuming these are interview rooms. Interview with Tom Peach, molecular and cellular biology PhD.
It is accurate, yes.
Page?
So these mechanical monstrosities, they don't just kill people. They feed off them?
Not just people. All organic matter.
Every living thing dissolves into nutrients. Millennia of evolution liquefied. The miracle of life reduced to bloody biofuel.
In a word, yes.
Who did this? Pharaoh? That asshole. Is he here?
No, Doctor. Please.
Uh-oh.
Tell him Tom Pike wants a word. Now, get off! Get off! Doctor, please! You get Ted Pharaoh in here!
He lost his cool as well. Travis Tate, data security consultant.
Discuss.
Oof. So Mama, she was right.
Pardon?
My mother, she took her Bible real serious. Not just Texas Bubble serious, Pentecostal serious. Favorite chapter? Revelations. Now, I didn't always understand her on account of all that speaking in tongues and such, but when she did use her words, it was always end times this and lake of fire that on account of sinful lifestyles. Speaking of which, mind if I smoke?
A tobacco cigarette.
Sorry, darling. My tastes run classic. Compliments to your team tracked me down. Been a price on my head 18 months now. Sterling Malky was me, don't mind admitting. Been plenty of snakesters chasing the bounty too. But I kept the zigging to their zag. How'd you finger me?
I believe Dr. Sobek listed you as an alpha candidate. Priority snatch and grab.
Always suspected she had a little thing for me. Hey, I don't suppose you got real coffee in this place? You know, blood coffee? Conflict cappuccinos?
Mr. Tate, I'm clearing you to proceed. Just go.
Oh, anyway, I don't want to talk to him. Brad Andak, formerly of FAS. Yep, we know Brad.
Previously worked for Faro Automated Systems.
On the chariot line self-replication routines. I came here thinking this was a rendition. When your people took me, I thought, about time. I've been trying to swallow the guilt every day since.
Would you like to take a moment?
No. I really hoped Zero Dawn was a way to undo it all. My work. And I'm sorry to say I was ever proud of it, but Tech could really sell a concept, and in the labs, in the light of creation, that first test run, when you saw they understood their own structures, could rebuild themselves from memory and light, there were no limits. God, there were no limits.
Jeez. Seems like there's something here. Oh, there is. Interview with Dr. Sue Vey, PhD in Art History and Museum Studies.
I don't understand why I was brought here. Why would you show me these things? I know that there's already a lot to take in. In the waiting area, I was seated with a Nobel laureate in biophysics and a monk, I think. He spoke neither English nor Mandarin. It is very strange. And General Harris? What was he talking about? The robot swarm, the Pharaoh plague? I understand it is terrible, but it really cannot be stopped? Why tell us this? There are people in Shanghai, my friends, my family. They have joined Operation Enduring Victory already. It is for nothing? We will all die? We're going to be able to answer some of these questions. I just want to know why I am here. It doesn't make sense to me. You were brought here because of your skill set.
Yeah.
No, that can't be right. I am an art historian. I know Dutch masters, Japanese calligraphy, Gerhard Richter. What does that matter now?
Well, it all has a point. Here's my kind of thought, and I probably am wrong, but I have a feeling that, like, Zero Dawn, like, the project itself was the idea of preserving humanity in the future. That maybe, perhaps, if anyone was to have survived, they would be able to see the past.
CD02 data intact. Initiating
Oh,
playback.
here we go. Well, I guess we're gonna find out more.
You've heard the bad news, and it's all true. The Pharaoh plague is devouring the biosphere. Life itself will cease to exist. But does that have to be the end? What if we could give life a future? What if we could build a kind of seed from which, on a dead planet, life could blossom anew? This is the aim, the hope, of Project Zero Dawn. To create a super-intelligent, fully automated terraforming system and bring life back from lifelessness.
What?
What would such a system require? At its core, it would need a true AI, fully capable of making the trillions of decisions necessary to reconstitute the biosphere. An immortal guardian, devoted to the reflourishing of life. We call it Gaia.
What? What?
Just the core of the system. She will need to be surrounded and empowered by a comprehensive suite of subordinate functions. Think of them as extensions of Gaia's
Bro.
mind, each dedicated to a specific purpose.
Apollo.
Now these aren't AIs, but make no
Poseidon.
mistake. Each presents an engineering challenge more profound than anything the human species
Hades.
has attempted. Hardware that preserves and then gestates the
Hephaestus.
seeds and embryos
Oh,
from which life
God.
can be reborn. the construction of underground facilities to hold it all.
Hephaestus, there he is.
That's just the start. We don't have to build the entire system.
Minerva.
The beauty of a fully automated terraforming system is that it can build itself. Now, over the days to come, you'll learn how all these functions, all these pieces that you'll be working on, fit together. How we'll race the clock to execute our harvest initiatives, write the software, build the tech and the facilities. How we'll lock it down and seal it up before the inevitable occurs. But even more important, you'll know how it doesn't end here. How Gaia will generate those deactivation codes General Harris talked about, and build the transmission arrays to broadcast them, shutting down the Pharaoh robots for good. How Gaia will not just build, but imagine any conceivable robot it needs to do its work across centuries.
Hephaestus.
From detoxifying the Earth's ravaged atmosphere and poisoned seas.
Oh,
To
God.
the greening of the Earth from cryopreserved seed stocks. To rewilding the Earth with animal life. And then, when all that is done, how a new generation of human beings, spawned at cradle facilities around the globe, will partake of Apollo. The vast archive of human knowledge and cultural achievement from which they will learn of us, our world. And most important, how not to repeat our mistakes.
Oh my
It's not
God.
an impossible dream. It is within our grasp if we work tirelessly and stop at nothing to achieve it. We can't stop life from ending. But if you will help me, help Gaia, we can give it a future. Join me and help make that future real.
Oh my God.
Remade?
Yes. By a machine. A machine of creation.
Elizabeth did this. For life. For us. But why Hades then? If it was part of Gaia, how'd it end up in the wreckage of a Pharaoh robot? And why does it want to kill me? And Apollo, the archive of knowledge, what happened to that?
And Hephaestus, taking over Cyan. I'm as confused as you are. Maybe the answers lie ahead.
So, Gaia was just this AI, right? That just was created out of all these like different things. So you had all the ones that are up there. That you had Aether, which. So I have a list of them all here. So you have Aether, which detoxified the Earth's atmosphere. You have Apollo, which has the focus symbol, which was the archival of human history and culture, education of new generations of humans created in the Zero Dawn cradle facilities, which must be where Aloy was born, like in the mountain. Yeah, and the focus, of course, gives you access to all that stuff because you can see it holographically. Artemis was a reintroduction of Earth's faunal species from preserved genetic stocks. Now, we know that sort of exists in a sense because there are animals. Demeter, reintroduction of Earth's floral species from preserved genetic stocks. Well, obviously we know there's plenty of floral species. Eleuthia, reintroduction of the human species via cloning and raising of humans from genetic stocks at cradle facilities. See, that's what I'm talking about. Like, that right there has to be why Aloy was born. She was born from the mountain. She was born from this. Now, there's Hades, which they didn't talk about. And then, of course, Hephaestus, manufacturer of Zero Dawn terraforming machines at Cauldrons. So, we know that Hephaestus somehow tried to take over Cyan, but why? Minerva is the brute forcing of Pharaoh Plague deactivation codes, which obviously that really happened because, well, I mean, they're trying to dig up a lot of these old machines, and then Poseidon detoxification of Earth's water. So, Hades is a reversal of unsuccessful terraforming attempts vis-a-vis the sustainability of created biospheres for sustaining life. Oh my god, so basically the idea was so everybody did die. Everybody did die, and then this whole system, this Gaia system, activates this mass AI, which basically reboots the planet. All these machines, like it said, when these machines were created to do stuff, so grazers, like they keep the plants down. All the machines are created specifically to do work on the planet, to bring the planet back. So like the snap moths, for example, they lay in the water, they detoxify the water. The grazers, they keep the plants down. The glint hawks, they keep the skies from being polluted. I'm trying to think of what some of the other things do. Like, for example, they did say earlier in the game, they said that like, oh well, new machines appeared, like the Thunderjaw, the Sawtooth. Maybe those machines are being created by this whole mass system as a way to keep the population of humans down. Maybe they are predatory machines to kill humans. But that makes me wonder why there's then the derangement. These machines becoming corrupt. Holy shit, what a massive, what the fuck? Oh my god. Make your selection. You are now in possession of information regarding the true nature and purpose of Project Zero Dawn, classified far above top secret. As such, regret that you cannot be allowed to leave this facility. There are 3 options available to you at this point. Please consider each carefully. Trained counselors are standing by to assist you in making your choice. Participation. You will be assigned to a sub-project team based on your area of expertise. You should be aware that the way forward will be difficult and the project's outcome is uncertain. You'll be expected to work a minimum of 80 hours per week, and your communications with family members will be strictly limited and monitored in real time. Upon successful completion of the project, you and your immediate family, or 2 persons of your choosing, will be transferred to the Elysium sealed habitat to live out the remainder of your natural lives. Number 2, indefinite detention. Should you choose to decline participation in Project Zero Dawn, you will be confined indefinitely. You'll be given 48 hours to reconsider, after which your decision to refuse participation will be considered irrevocable. Every reasonable effort will be made to make your term of confinement as comfortable as possible, but you will not be permitted contact with the outside world, and death within 18 months due to the Faro Plague is inevitable. When the Zero Dawn facility is abandoned, detainees who wish to not opt for medical euthanasia will be released. And that leads to number 3, medical euthanasia. The information you have just received understandably calls into question the purpose of continuing to live. If you would prefer to end your life at this point, pain-free medical euthanasia is available. A 48-hour waiting period is required, during which time you may instead opt for participation or confinement. Please note a counselor when you are ready to make your choice if you have further questions. Wow. So, let's just get this straight. Ted Faro, aka the biggest douchebag in the entire fucking world, his company creates these robots that eventually become so powerful that they can self-replicate and they can feed on biomass, literally everything on the planet. And they cannot stop them, and they realize they cannot stop them, so they basically hire a group of individuals to create this massive AI project. And dude, Faro is such an evil-ass company. Like, they're literally telling you, oh, well, if you don't want to participate, you can feel free to fucking die, if you like, or you can be confined indefinitely, you piece of shit. What the fuck, dude? Counselor Guidelines number 2. It is vitally important that candidates choose to participate in Project Zero Dawn voluntarily and knowingly, without additional coercion and without value judgment on the part of the counselor. Confirm for candidates that they were selected due to their skill sets and accomplishments. Emphasize that their dedicated participation in Zero Dawn will increase the project's chances of success. Frame participation in Zero Dawn as an opportunity to respond actively in the face of an overwhelming threat. Candidates may question the fairness of their selection, validate such obligations as normal, or such objections as normal. Even admirable responses emphasize the value of candidates' expertise to the future, not just of humanity, but terrestrial life as a whole. Likewise, candidates may balk at the morality of extending their lifespans and those of loved ones beyond 0 day. Validate their hesitation, acknowledge that while the reward of Elysium is not fair, it will be earned. If possible, redirect their ethical misgivings towards greater commitment to the project. When candidates challenge the plausibility of Project Zero Dawn, permit them to review Dr. Sobek's presentation as many times as they wish, and allow access to supplemental articles G01 through P20. Allow them to suspend the interview to fully process the documentation. A significant minority of candidates will elect for medical euthanasia. It is important to receive this decision kindly and without judgment. Advise them of the 48-hour waiting period during which counselors will be available to discuss their decision. Emphasize that euthanasia will not occur without repeated consent when the procedure is scheduled to take place. No one will be euthanized against his or her will. Candidates who elect indefinite detention must be informed that they have 48 hours to reverse their decision, after which the decision is final. Wow. 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 This is insane. This, this is like a payoff. This is worth the fucking payoff right here. Like, this is crazy. What the fuck? What an insane thing. Alright, Brad Andak's second interview.
I'll do it. To be given the opportunity to rebuild what the damage that I don't feel worthy of it, but I will do it, absolutely.
I want to stress that this was never about your culpability.
It is to me. Dr. Sobek, Margot, they were smart to get out of Pharaoh when they did, but not one of us took it as a warning sign. It just told ourselves that we're cut out for the BTRI cabals. That's the better than rapid innovation. Better at competing, better than the next guy, a better killing machine. It's just amazing how a century and a half of science fiction did nothing to swerve our species from the path of doom. I mean,
that's a great sentence to think about now.
Twice as hard to earn this, for my family to have a place in Elysium. I never thought that there could be atonement.
Yeah, it's kind of insane to think that we have all of this. He's kind of right. Like, all of this, like a century and a half of science fiction did nothing to sway us from our doom. Yeah, I kind of feel that way about real life. Alright, what do we got? Suzanne Alpert's second interview.
If you're still nauseous. No, the inhibitors have kicked in. I can't feel the back of my tongue. I wish I could tell you I'd believe in this. But the damage is too great, too extensive, too complete. With all respect to Dr. Sobek's work at Miriam, no. No. Life doesn't always find a way to keep going. Sometimes it never comes back. Like Syzygy East. Like the Congo. Like Timor. Like us. That's our reward? A buried city full of terminal patients waiting out the clock?
You grow old together, with your loved ones, in safety.
I don't have loved ones. I suppose I could start a family?
I'm afraid not. All inhabitants of Elysium will be medically sterilized. A habitat capable of sustaining a starting base of 2,000 individuals for up to 100 years is a huge challenge, Dr. Alpert. If the population grows instead of diminishes, everyone will be dead inside 30 years.
I knew it. I just couldn't bring myself to say the words.
I'm sorry.
Finish it. Medical euthanasia. I want no part of this. I just want it over.
I see. Protocols require a 48-hour waiting period, after which...
Wow. So, that's actually... She actually kind of has a point. The idea of you work you do all this really hard work, basically, like, this is like the work to do, right? You do, like, the hardest work you've ever done, right, to create something for the future of the planet, and then you're medically sterilized and put into a into a facility, like a hidden facility where you live out the rest of your natural life, where you know, wow, it is. I see where she's coming from. Ron Felder's second interview.
Is he to make sure I behave this time?
Security, for your protection. Would you like to discuss how you're feeling?
Sure. I'll tell you. Surprised. No, flabbergasted. Like my own man would say, flabbergasted. That vein pumping in his forehead. I thought you people were just completely underprepared for a spaceflight project. But now I can see it's worse. Much worse. Sobek is a total fantasist, a dangerous fantasist. He's kind of blue skying. It's... Jesus. I'm sorry we wasted each other's time. I'm ready to leave now.
I'm afraid that's not possible.
Everything you're talking about here isn't possible.
I recommend you read the documents regarding your options.
I've seen enough. I'm getting out of here. What did you... You don't... Get your hands off me!
And it would be detainment for him, it seems. So we got one...
Medical wing inaccessible.
So we got one for every choice so far. One person's picked euthanasia, one's chosen to be a part of the project. What the fuck's in here? What is this? Is this like an advanced MRI machine? It's got like a little bed in here. Okay. What's that? Stranded shackles. What the hell? Ah, the second one of these. Goody goody. Not like I really need any of that shit anymore. I'm max fucking level. Alright, well, through we go.
Intruder! Get her!
Looks like we're
Whatever you
introduced.
do, don't die now.
Woo, buddy.
Let this pierce my
I believe I missed. Okay, so let's look around here. Log from Tom Page.
I hashed it out with them. What the point of Artemis was. I made it clear I wasn't on board for a global zoo. We haven't exactly proved ourselves to be great custodians in the past few thousand years. So the idea of a reconstituted biosphere, well, it's horrifying, isn't it? A complete horror show. We have no right to take a best guess at this stuff. But the alternative? Nothingness. For there to have been all this and then nothing. And with Charles Ronson running the show, I respect him. He's got a passion to it. He's hot-blooded. So I said I'll do it. I'll put my all into this, literally. When the project is done, I'll take the medical option, thank you. Counselor said I might change my mind. I told him that he didn't know me very well then. For life's sake, I'll do the dirty work. But I want no part of this pathetic attenuated future on offer. I'm an outdoors man. Never did like the feel of solid state lighting on my skin. And a wee bit of a claustrophobe anyway.
So yeah, it sounds like a good amount of people were kind of resenting towards the idea of creating this future. Like, oh well.
Is there another route?
I've done this before. Just need my focus.
Very much they kind of give up on wanting to be a part of the planet. You know, makes sense. Alright, what do we got here? Travis Tate. Oh, the crazy dude.
Now, those
Creepy
lame
dude.
FBI black hats at Mockingbird back in the day, I enjoyed schooling them. But maybe I went in too hard on this poor counselor. She was cute, and just going down a checklist after all. Couldn't expect her to see how ridiculous Zero D's ambitions are. God's own budget thrown at a kid playing with a hologram sculptor? Palms up, honey. I'm just calling it like it is. Hey, look, Mom, I'm making nature. Now, if nature is so important, why not let nature take its course? Extinction? That's natural. Zero Dawn? No, ma'am. That ain't. Heck, it's so unnatural it'd be called an abomination back home, and you know it. That's why you're hiding it. Meanwhile, my little honey of a counselor, she's munching the inside of her cheek. Bad habit. She chewed one of her nails, too, just one. Not your day, was it, little sweet pea? Saw her quota slipping away. Said, I assume you intend to decline the assignment, Mr. Tate. You kidding me? 18 months hard labor in exchange for 30 years lounging around Elysium watching porn? Sign me up.
Hey guy. Christina. Log from her.
It is art, in a way. An expression on the grandest scale. But there is so much unfairness. Why was I chosen? Was it decided by committee? By algorithm? My family will be saved because I happen to graduate in art history? Is this right?
Dr. Sauvé? Christina Sauvé?
Yes. I met a man, another historian. His fields are Bauhaus and the New Materialists.
The band's Bauhaus?
My talks. Another unfair chance. Of all the
The
people in that auditorium,
Bauhaus.
that we should both be here now. And yet, I feel more accepting of my fate. No, it is not fair. Not at all. But for the sake of my family, for the sake of art. Art is alive. It must be able to speak from beyond history and echo in the future, not perish into oblivion.
Hell yeah.
This opportunity, I must do this.
Well, I mean, you look at the Banuk and the art they paint, so it makes sense that, you know. Okay, we're not getting through there.
Here we go. Another one of these. I need to find the right. There's a part missing.
Hey,
Maybe there's a.
I'm done with Brett's incompetence, okay? Somehow, he managed to install an H-emitter node backwards. Everything's in reverse. I don't get paid to clean up Brett's messes. If you want it fixed, send him up to storage for a new emitter, not me. Parker out.
Everything's backwards. So if it's backwards, then that means that everything is reversed from what it is. So this is actually down. This is actually left. Up and then right. No. Maybe I will do this?
Done. I should check the door nearby.
Okay. Oh, this one in backwards. I see. So it's down. Yeah, okay, I see. It's just upside down. I see now. Alright, so we need to get the part. right? Could walk across there.
Forget about traveling light. Found one. Looks intact. That should do the trick.
Okay, so
Let's get that door open.
this one's down. This one's left. Up, right, and then down.
That did it. Door should have power.
Now to see what lies beyond it.
Oh, this door. Oh.
Eclipse. They're here.
Avoid contact.
Lines look good.
Gaia. It's up there. Second floor.
Can you reach it?
So much for avoiding contact.
Need to go through them. Goodbye. I just realized we have over $40,000.
You hiding from me?
Or not. Room's clear. For a moment, anyway.
Get moving. You have to find Gaia.
I know what I have to do. I also need to find audio diaries. Or, you know, little things to read and shit.
Alert. Structural failure prevents access. Alert. Area inaccessible. Elevators non-operational. Stairwells have collapsed.
Okay. Simulation results. Wow, you weren't kidding about Gaia's predilection for animal morphologies. Sure, not totally unexpected given the rough natural terrain her bots will have to navigate, but I agree that there's something deeper going on here. Her designs aren't just functional. They almost feel like, well, tributes is the word that comes to mind. As though she's already mourning their loss, and not just for the disappearing fauna of our time, but creatures from the fossil record too. References to megafauna in some of her designs. So cool. Well, whatever Gaia thinks up, Hephaestus will empower her to build it. I just wish we could still be around in a century or two to see what she makes, Margot. So is Hephaestus the one who is responsible for creating like the machines that we're seeing everywhere, the Snapjaw, like stuff like that? And that begs the question is, like, okay, so then if that's the case, then why is there like the derangement, for example?
Hello, I'm Margot
Oh!
and this is Hephaestus. As the name might tip you off, this is going to be the subordinate function that Gaia will use to make lots and lots of robots. Her personal forge. Except, it's not that simple. So like, you probably noticed that only about a third of you are robotics engineers. The rest, experts in machine cognition, virtual heuristics, that stuff. Well, that's because we aren't going to be the ones designing and building robots. The last thing we want is to burden Gaia with a bunch of outmoded 21st century designs. Waste of time. Our purpose is to empower Gaia to build the robots, and not just build, imagine, from scratch. Any robot she needs for any conceivable purpose, designed and fabricated at a snap of a finger. Hers. Her finger. So, Hephaestus isn't really the forge. It's more like the knowledge of craft and ingenuity of a mastersmith to wield the hammer. Encoded as software. Virtual creativity made real. Gaia's already learning. In simulations, she's doing some very creative things with fractal assembly and animal morphologies. Her designs aren't about to win the Liam Prize anytime soon, but hey, everyone has to start somewhere. So, yes, time to get started. Let's do this.
I don't get it. If Hephaestus was part of a system designed to save life, why would it use cyan to make a cauldron? I've seen these shapes before. In cauldrons.
But of course, the birthing places of Gaia's machines.
Yeah, of course. We knew that already. Full steam ahead. I knew that's where the machines came from. It had to have been. From Elizabeth Sobek to Margot. Full steam ahead. Margot, if I had doubted your brilliance in the slightest, I wouldn't have picked you as the Hephaestus Alpha. You need to stop worrying about your age and communication style. You are who you are. Have confidence in yourself. You know what you're doing. Case in point, the latest draft of your plan for the construction and stocking of bootstrap silos to store raw materials is excellent. This, combined with your design for the AM Foundry core and the Foundry site selection plan, add up to a comprehensive plan. It's time to start construction. One detail. Consult with Anamede Okilo before you finalize the silo inventories. Hephaestus' first task will be to fabricate the robots that will construct the waveform broadcast towers Minerva will use to transmit the deactivation codes. So any exotic materials needed for the towers should be accounted for in the inventory plan. Oh! The inventory plan. Elizabeth, is that what the thing is? This over here. Where is it? This tower that they have here in the by Meridian, the big thing. Is that one of them? Haha. Okay, well. I'm gonna activate this again, but
Hello, I'm Margot Shan.
I didn't activate it the first time.
As the name might tip you off, this is going to be the subordinate function that Gaia will use to make lots and lots of robots.
Alright.
Her personal forge.
So back here, I guess we'll just use the steps. Yes, this was the Hephaestus lab. Can't get that through there for some reason. Okay.
I think this is it. Elizabeth Sobek's office. But more Eclipse.
Careful now.
How do I get the stuff from back here? How do I get... How do I get these? Do I have to... Is that... What I have to do is I have to, like, go around here? Well, they can't hear me, so I can just sprint. Okay. Just seems like I'm being led so far away from...
The collective memory of the human species and the wellspring of knowledge for future generations. I am Samina Ebaji. Until recently, I was director of the International Collective Memory Institute in New Tehran. As a heritage professional, I devoted my career to the preservation of human knowledge, creative endeavor, and cultural achievement. Apollo is, therefore, the ultimate embodiment of a lifelong passion, albeit under the very worst circumstances imaginable. The challenges before us are immense. Specifically, we will have to design and implement 4 major initiatives simultaneously. First, the construction of data repositories in cradle facilities around the world, ensuring redundancy. Second, the collection and processing of a projected 180 million discrete data entries, 42 zettabytes of data in Mandarin, English, Spanish, and Arabic. Third, the transferal and encoding of all that data onto DNA encapsulated in synthetic fossils. The only medium capacious and durable enough to safeguard it without degradation for the centuries to come. And last, but not least, the development of the holographic interface and gamified curricula, by which future humans will commune with Apollo, progressively unlocking heuristic learning modules, leveling up their knowledge and skills they will need to take control of the terraforming system. That is the future towards which all of our efforts will be directed. Not just the preservation of the past, but the seed for the flourishing of a new tree of knowledge. Welcome, and let us begin.
Wow, that's very in-depth for Apollo. But it's pretty cool. Encapsulated DNA. From Samina Abaji to Elizabeth Sobek. And the winner is Encapsulated DNA. Over the past 10 days, I performed an exhaustive review of data storage solutions. Magnetic, optical, quantum, even that Eternity tech that FAS was shilling a year or so ago. But every other solution has one or more fatal shortcomings. Too heavy to transport, too massive to install in the allotted space, too power intense over the centuries, too prone to failure past 300 to 400 years, etc. Encapsulated DNA will easily hold the 40 plus zettabytes we're projecting for Apollo. There are still many details to finalize, of course. To start with, we need to select the inert material in which we'll embed the molecules, already testing 16 candidate materials, as well as design and fabricate the power systems and sealed reliquaries that will keep the DNA at negative 18 degrees C for 1,000 plus years. So long as I assure you that it didn't factor in my decision, may I confess that I deem it entirely fitting, indeed propitious, that we will be using the very building blocks of life to preserve human knowledge from mechanized extinction? It's not just ironic, but heroic. Life as the hero, beating back the forces of oblivion. In any case, much to do. Until next time, peace be with you, Samina. Yeah, we already knew that she was working on this stuff as well. Apollo update from Samina. Over the past 2 months, the full benefit of our procurement of the copy of the Homer archive from Far Zenith has made itself known, and as a result, all of Apollo's key deliverables are on schedule. Apollo has already surpassed 40 million discrete data entries and continues to grow. The physical science modules are effectively complete, with soft science modules close behind. World history, cultural data, and media archives are also on schedule. Language preservation is wrapping up, a bit ahead of schedule due to falling short of our goal to preserve 4,500 languages. I suppose the tragic early loss of Papua New Guinea doomed that goal from the onset, with certain curricula development about to begin. Speaking of the heuristic curricula, they are performing well in testing, with children and adolescents demonstrating high levels of engagement with and trust in the Aristotle and Apasia persona. Personally, I find them highly engaging, especially when they debate. I wish half my professors had been so entertaining. It's pretty interesting to watch them, like the idea of like them preserving all of just like the human history. Just okay, well we have, thousands of years of human history. Let's just cram it all into this program.
Stocking up.
This guy is over here.
They're still looking.
Goodbye.
That's the last of them. Alone once more.
In what should have been a cave of wonders. Look around. See if anything is left.
I mean, here in Apollo, probably there doesn't seem to be much. Yeah. I think we're missing anything from here.
Welcome to Hades. Zero Dawn's
Oh boy, here we go.
Safe protocol. The ultimate killer app.
Oh, well, don't say that.
I know what you're thinking. The purpose of Gaia is to
Of course Travis is in charge of Hades.
subordinate function, only purpose of which is to wipe out life all over again. I mean, what? Just plumb crazy, ain't it? Well, no, it isn't. Reconstituting a biosphere? That's a tall order. Tech smart as Gaia may be, odds are she won't get it right the first time. I mean, imagine your Gaia 200 years from now and this new biosphere growing, it's all gone wrong. Alkalines are skyrocketing, coniferous forests eroding under the lash of superstorms that would have drowned Noah. It's chaos. Spinning top that won't stop wobbling. Now what are you gonna do? Release phase 1 organisms into that hot mess? Hope their CO2 and methane can balance out what you got started? Hell no. What you're gonna do, Gaia, is step aside, while Hades takes over and does what you're just too darn nurturing and life-loving to do, which is burn that misbegotten mess of a biosphere to the ground so Gaia can start over. Okay, not burn, more like reverse terraforming operations and suffocate it. But you get the idea. Hades takes the biosphere back to zero. Square one, blank slate. And then, only then, does it hand the steering wheel back to Gaia and say, try again, old girl. And better this time, or we'll have to do this again. That's Hades. It's pretty badass when you think about it. Extinction on demand. Death on speed dial.
Yeah, it's
All
not.
for the greater good, of course, but still, kind of metal. So welcome to Hades. Welcome to the void.
Well, we got a problem with this fuck.
If that's the original purpose of Hades, why does it want me extinct? And how's it
Because
end up in
you're a
the
clone of
Titan,
Sobek.
getting worshipped by the Eclipse like some kind of god.
If Hephaestus went rogue, why not Hades too?
That's what I'm thinking, but why? And what caused it?
Keep searching, and perhaps we'll find the answer.
Alright, noise complaints. Color me confounded, Lizzie. Bashcore? Anyone who says the old TT code's the Bashcore is straight up lying, and you know it. Old Trav don't have no truck with commercialized razzle-dazzle. Nuh-uh. Heck, I'd rather guzzle a liter of Satarum run off than listen to Grey Swarm for 30 seconds. Hand to God, swear on my mama's grave. She was religious. Nah, that ain't Bashcore blasting the Hades lab, shaking the walls, rattling folks' teeth. It's death metal, girl. Classical music, 80s and 90s mostly. Got me some Dutch deathcore, some Japanese gore grind, some Swedish cannibal themed stuff too. Stop by if you want to listen, or heck, just come within 50 meters of the lab. Ain't no Bashcore you'll see, or hear rather, in the screech that rends the air, and feel in the throbbing pulse of the floor and walls, and ceilings swallowing you up like you was Jonah trapped in the gullet of that gothic deathfish. Hallelujah. As for those requests to turn it down, no can do, Lizzie. This is how I code. Turn down my death metal? Might as well give up stimulants, chocolate malts, and industrial accident bids. Last I heard, we were supposed to be coding Hades down here. Am I really supposed to code an Extinction Protocol without death metal to inspire me? Nah, I don't think so. Stay cool, Trav. Actually, I think I'm Travis. That's very me. I would probably be blasting like shit like Spirit Box and like Architects and like Baby Metal and all kinds of shit while I tell people to just go fuck themselves. Just like, just let me work, cockhead. Like, leave me alone. Alright. Hades Protocol. Tate here. Just popped 3 blues, but I earned it. Finally figured out a Goldilocks solution on to Gaia's rather extreme executive authority. If it ain't worth 10 to 12 hours of dream time, what is? Before this, every usurpation protocol I designed failed in simulation because I was either too hard or too soft. Too hard, and it degraded the Gaia core. Sure, it pried her figurative fingers off the figurative driving wheel so Hades could take control. But by breaking her fingers, sometimes her arms too, so that couldn't fly. Everything depends on Gaia taking control back after Hades has done its business, so I had to find a solution that didn't leave Gaia any worse for wear. Too soft, and Gaia only pretended to relinquish control. In simulation after simulation, Hades would take command of the terraforming system and reverse operations, only to have Gaia lurk in the background. Quietly reverse and process some falsifying telemetry to hide its interface. Sneaky. I swear, ain't nothing Gaia wouldn't do to keep life going, even when it's just simulated plant life. Turns out the just right solution is to isolate Gaia in a protective code shell, preserving its integrity, then unseat it from command position so Hades can slip into the figurative captain's chair and work its magic. Those blues are coming on pretty strong now, so I'm not really describing it so clear, but pretty sure it'll work. Yeah, those blues are pretty strong. Guess it's time to sleep in bed. I'll back to it tomorrow. Alligators. I as a motherfucker. Yep. Just learning that Travis is me. I'm him. Archive abuse. From Samina to Travis. Mr. Tate, this mail concerns Apollo archive submission, your 666th submission in just 5 days. Oh, what a doozy. Despite earlier warnings, inappropriate materials if you choose to submit 265 holographic remasters of acknowledged classics of extreme exploitation cinema, allow me then to thank you on 2 counts. 1, for giving me the pleasure of rejecting your submission, thereby consigning your favorite Eastern European torture flicks and their ilk to the dust heap of oblivion. It truly warms my heart to know that I have just saved future humanity from the ordeal of experiencing not just one, but all 16 installments of Making a Millipede. Don't worry, the Pasolini material has already been preserved, extreme perhaps, but art. 2, for clarifying a concept that this has so long been ambiguous and ethically fraught for archivists such as myself, the definition of obscenity. You have freed me from the subjective quagmire embodied in Judge Potter's famous utterance, "I know it when I see it." Thanks to you, I can now apply a single objective criterion. If Travis Tate submitted it, it's obscene. Accordingly, I have directed Apollo staff to summarily reject all of your future submissions sight unseen. Perhaps you might invest the time you would have spent preparing further submissions on, I don't know, your assigned work. We have a world to save after all, or the rest of us do anyway. Hey, well, I kind of disagree with Samina here. I feel like we should be preserving things like the human centipede. Let it free! Let her be in the wilderness!
Looks like the only way onwards.
Welcome to Eleuthia, the crown and king of Gaia's subordinate functions.
This is how people are born.
Eleuthia that the human race will continue to exist. I am Patrick Brochard-Klein, the Alpha in charge of this program. Now let one thing be perfectly clear from the outset. Eleuthia is not a genetic engineering project. Our goal is to preserve the human genome, not alter it. A snapshot of human genetic diversity, literally frozen in time. The genetic quintessence of our species, unmodified. Under my watch, our activities and initiatives will comply with the 2034 clone provisions and the 2048 Rally Accords. Now that may seem a quaint, even trivial concern to you in light of present circumstances, but as one of the authors of the Accords, it is far from trivial to me. The practical challenges before us are staggering in scope and complexity, but not insurmountable. No. Global collation and provisional storage of zygotes, perfection of exogenic technologies, design and perfection of servitors, to provide nurture and inculcation during early child development. All of these program components must and will proceed in tandem. To say nothing of the breakneck construction of cradle facilities at sites around the world. So, si vous êtes prêts, let us begin.
FC Chambers. From Patrick to Elizabeth. The ectogenic chambers arrived 2 days ago. I've spent the last 36 hours examining them and poring over the technical documentation. Their revelation, astonishing. I don't know what you had to give Far Zenith in trade to get these chambers, but it was worth it. In a single leap, their embryologists have vaulted past 50 years of technological shortcomings. The risks of ECMO resolved. Nutrition delivery resolved. Hormonal stability resolved. 12 other risk areas resolved. Before I examine these chambers, I consider the Odyssey to be a fool's errand, but if the rest of SC's technology is at this level, well, a human colony around Sirius doesn't seem so impossible after all. Mass fabrication of the chambers will present a number of challenges, but I'm confident they can be resolved. I'm going to rest for a few hours and get back to it. Expect a fabrication plan within 48 hours, PBK. Okay, he names himself PBK, that's pretty cool.
These what I think they are?
Yeah, they're cryotubes.
Machines to spawn a
Okay.
human beings.
Cradle Servitor Persona. From Patrick to Elizabeth. Development of the artificial persona for Cradle servitors, nurturer, disciplinarian, healer continues at a good pace. We are targeting Turing 0.4 for these constructs. This should allow low-grade empathy and limited improvisation without undermining adherence to codified behavior sets. The stimulus-driven switching of persona, however, is proving to be a greater software challenge than anticipated, especially concerning the entrenched feedback loops between the disciplinarian and healer persona. I've also attached reports from an incident where a servitor running the mother persona intervened on a disciplinarian servitor behavior, a parental argument, if you will. Amusing on first glance, perhaps, but deeply concerning. I have attached a comprehensive plan for correcting these interactive protocol shortcomings. In just... Wait till Aloy finds out she was probably born in one of these, right? I was born in a tube? Cradle sealed. From Patrick to Elizabeth. Aluthia 01 was successfully sealed before the swarm advancing across Xinjiang province could detect it. Ping back from crucial systems is good. For our maiden voyage, a success. Regards my disputes with the betas over zygote selection. Of course, I understand we have limited overhead to run simulations of gene flow of our future humans, but we can all agree there is margin for refinement in future cradle populations. DONC, in addition to personally overseeing completion of the Aluthia 02 site inside Mount Namuli, I will formulate and propose a modified zygote selection plan within the week. PBK.
Cradle facilities. Elizabeth said a new generation of humans would be spawned inside such places.
She did.
Mother Mountain. It was one of them?
There's only one way to be sure.
The hatch wouldn't open. Something about a corrupted alpha registry. I need to search Elizabeth's office.
Okay. Just check the time here. Just a little bit left. Dialogue, 27th of March, 2065.
You're a quick study, Gaia. Dr. Sobek. As I have conducted this comparative analysis of mammalian morphologies, I've gathered extensive data on the quaternary extinction event.
Oh? Looks like it used to hold something.
And your assessment?
Some component that got removed.
Gaia? Logically speaking, the extinction was a natural consequence. And yet, I find the loss of megafaunal species unaccountably sad. That they passed forever into oblivion causes me to experience a grief that is difficult to describe. Am I malfunctioning?
No, Gaia, you're not. This is good. It's very good.
Dialogue, January 13, 2066.
Consciousness during relocation to Prime and final instatement.
Elizabeth, may I speak outside protocol?
When you're back up and running at the new site, we'll bring the subordinate functions online and see where we stand.
Elizabeth, I detect distress. Are you all right?
I'm fine.
I realize that circumstances compel us to launch earlier than we hoped, but all subsystems are operational. The odds stand in our favor.
But what if... Gaia, there's nothing left out there. You can't even survive unless you're wearing an environmental suit.
There are billions dead, in fear and agony. What if it was all for nothing?
Elizabeth, extinction was inevitable. Thanks to you, life will have a future.
You really believe that?
I believe in you, Elizabeth. In you, all things.
Well then. Oh, here's this.
Pure logic won't cut it.
June
Ted.
5th, 2065.
Gaia's going to need to have some skin in the game. It has to care.
What if it runs amok? Have we learned nothing from our mistakes?
Your mistakes, I think you mean?
I'll say your
All I'm
mistake.
saying is give it a kill switch.
She was just born, Ted. I'm not gonna put a gun to her head while she's still in the cradle.
You talk like it's a child. What if it becomes a monster?
Elizabeth, may I speak outside protocol?
Of course, Gaia, go on.
I'm sorry to contradict you, but Mr. Farrow's argument is sound. At this point, the development of my psyche is not entirely predictable. To ensure preservation of life, a hardwired override is, I believe, a necessary safeguard.
There. Satisfied, Ted?
Jeez, Liz, just do what it says.
Wow. Fuck Ted for sure, though. It was a big fuck you to Ted. Okay, well. Pry this door open. Odyssey has failed. From Elizabeth to all alphas. All some terrible news, I'm afraid. Far Zenith has informed me that the Odyssey mission has failed. Last night, telemetry indicated a catastrophic antimatter containment failure as the drive spun up to depart the solar system. The ship, its crew, and its cargo of zygotes and seeds, its alpha build of Apollo, were all lost. Zero Dawn is now the only hope for the continuation of the human species on earthly life. We must succeed, Elizabeth. Artemis status. From Charles Ronson to Elizabeth Sobek, Artemis status. It's coming along, Liz. I'm positive about it. If those words can still mean anything, had my sleeves rolled up, negotiating with frozen zoos for their samples, so many species trapped in ghoulish hologram dioramas, suspended in what-ifs, more than 14,000 that went extinct between 2000 and 2043. We started mapping out primary succession, selecting the pioneer organisms for a balanced and sustainable biosphere. Microorganisms and insects, rabbits and hawks, foxes and wolves. Thousands more that will have to wait their turn until our new generation can be entrusted with the duty of restoring them, so they can return to a world that, this time, will understand the concept of conservation before it's too late. There's already been too many lates. Too many too lates. We lost the whole collection team during the swarm breakthrough in Myanmar. The samples we lost were, well, irreplaceable. But thanks to you, Liz, the circles of life will bend, not break. The Earth was a lifeless rock before, and someday it will be again, but not now, like this, not on our watch. Ronson. Okay. Well, let's analyze her computer, shall we?
The Alpha Registry master file.
Intact?
Yeah. No signs of corruption.
Then what are you waiting for? Copy the file.
With this, I can restore the registry of the hatch inside Allmother. Open it. Go inside.
And grasp the secrets within.
Where I was born. Maybe who gave birth to me.
What gave birth to you?
Are you really so naive? There will be no who waiting for you there, Aloy. Whatever birthed you into the world was a what, not a who.
You bastard.
Oh no, I had a legitimate birth. It's you, Aloy, who are the
Well, then I am better than you.
Kind of machine and why? Why were you created?
Because there's a problem with Gaia, obviously, or a problem with the whole system. Obviously, we know this because of Hephaestus.
You need to get out of there. What you found is too valuable. You're too valuable.
We obviously know, like, Hephaestus and Hades, both of which are going bad, or... Hi!
Still alive. Good.
Hellas.
I have a
Helus.
more suitable death in mind for you, child.
Discovered the truth. Well...
My entire life, I've always known one thing with prophetic certainty. That I was destined for glory as a great champion of the sun. Even when Jiran was murdered, even when Meridian fell, I never doubted my destiny. Until you came along.
Oh, my focus.
When I
Oh yeah, just leave all my shit right there.
A doubt took root in my mind. As sure as the sun rises and falls each day, those I am bade to kill die. And yet I failed. How? Why? With each dig site
You have
intact,
braided hair, you loon.
this pestering doubt grew. It grew when High Priest Bahavas went missing. And when the true Sun King Italy...
Quest thing just flashed up, and I don't know what it said.
It not only grew, but multiplied. I kept thinking of the moment my knife pierced your throat. One twist, a simple tug of the blade, and you would have bled out. In slaughter, I am a practiced hand. So why hesitate? Why fail my destined purpose?
See that scar on your cheek? You didn't get to finish.
Yes, I remember. He fought well. For a savage.
His name was Rost.
His little thing has like bullets on it.
You could ever
His
hope to
collar.
be.
The better man.
See, they're all
is the one who
bullets.
doesn't end up with his guts steaming on the ground. No, it wasn't him. I could have finished you before he attacked, but I didn't. This failing troubled my thoughts, haunted every step.
Dude, you're crazy, bro.
Captured you down in that place. That I finally glimpsed the sun's design etched at length across the course of events. You were meant to survive that day on the mountain. Meant to interfere at dig sites and kill my men. Meant to eliminate High Priest Bahavas. Meant to snatch Itamen away. Conversely, I was meant to capture you. Here. So that you might die as a sacrificial offering to the sun.
Well, the king likes me, so
As it was meant to be.
you're not a ruler.
And preordained.
You know what? He is a thug, and he's a fool, but he is a puppet.
Some destiny. You're following orders, not some grand cosmic design. You're a puppet, with Hades yanking the strings. A pawn pushed around by larger forces. It'd be laughable if there weren't so much killing involved. Hades is an ancient machine, not the buried shadow of Karja myth. It doesn't care about Meridian. It wants to kill everything and everyone. And you are its dutiful slave.
I serve not the buried shadow, but the sun in shadow. All halves of nature joined to one cause. Shadow to sun, dark to light.
Do you really not hear how ridiculous that sounds? You've gone from serving an insane homicidal Sun King to an insane homicidal machine. You're moving down in the world, not up.
I'll remember those words as I watch your corpse burn. Whatever's left of it. You fail to grasp the point. As surely as you've been conquered, so has all doubt. And with certainty of belief comes unstoppable force.
Then open this cage and put your faith to the test. See if things work out like you expect.
The circle has closed. Every element is in its proper place, exactly where it belongs. The errant beast, now caged, will serve her true purpose. A sacrificial animal. Oh, speaking of sacrifice, I forgot to tell you. After you crashed the Eclipse network, I sent messengers into the east to rally the forces there and mount an invasion of the sacred land. I ordered every Nora killed. I was hoping to catch you there, but alas, it all seems to have been unnecessary.
Needless slaughter.
Why butcher dozens of innocents for no gain? It's a waste of effort.
You're right. I won't even be there to enjoy it. In any case, I couldn't recall the order even if I wished to. Thanks to your destruction of the network, communication over distances is impossible. You not only doomed yourself, but an entire tribe. Do we not see the scorching judgment of the sun in these events? Your focus. Such a powerful device, isn't it? And yet, so fragile.
Oh, thanks.
So you see, this time, I did not hesitate. The knife has already been twisted.
Alright, loser. Well, I'm in the Sun Ring. God, that guy's such a fucking dweeb. What a fucking dweeb, bro.
Karja faithful, rejoice! Our years
Penis, more like penis. Am I right?
A new dawn trembles on the horizon. A new day, soon to break. And when it does, the false Sun King will be dead.
He looks like a fucking ghoul.
Ours once more. In this, I have become an instrument of prophecy. All halves of nature join.
I'm yawning. I'm literally bored with listening to this guy talk.
To sun, light to dark, night to day. Behold!
Oh, gee. As if I'd never seen those before. Corruptors? That's what you brought to this battle?
Can you not see the proof of the sun's blessing before your eyes? How else?
Yo, if you would have sent me in here with a couple of fire claws, bro, I would have maybe been a little nervous, but...
The sun and joined to our cause. Many years ago, to consecrate this great ring, the Radiant Turan ordered many faithless crushed beneath the hooves of the behemoth. Mighty is the behemoth in the eye of the sun, but it is mightier still, infused with the power of shadow. Let this one, who schemed and slithered, be the first to die. Let her be the first of thousands.
Alright, well, let's get this over with, shall we? Oh. Well, I don't have a weapon.
I'll never beat that thing without weapons. My weapons are up on the platform. There's no way out of this room. Maybe I can use some strength against it.
Alright, well, I guess we're going to leave it off from there, and then when we come back next time, we'll do this. So take care, everybody. I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.